Good morning. It's Elsie. Ooh, I'm hungry. I just put a piece of quiche in the oven to heat up for my breakfast. So, this is the item that I mentioned that I put around my neck, and these are flexible, and each one is controlled separately. So there's like 3 different settings. That's obviously the brightest, as you can see. So I can, I try to point them both because if I only use one, sometimes there's a shadow on my stitches. And so even when it's light out, this is really helpful. I just got it probably on Amazon. Yeah, but it definitely comes in handy, and it recharges. It's rechargeable with a cord, which is nice. So much excitement. Okay. And it's so interesting because you really learn as you go along, like, is this the right size hoop that I should be using? Especially for paged patterns. Does one hoop view cover a whole page? Because that would be super handy. So I'm not sure it's going to. So here's where I got. Here's my bunny. Okay. So this is actually the edge of the page. So width-wise, this pretty much works. So a couple things. Some people put their hoops on upside down. And the reason they do that is because when you tie off your thread, either because you've reached the edge or because you ran out of floss, you have to, if you're too close to the edge, it's not going to work, because if I try to put my needle underneath a couple of stitches and pull it through, I'm going to hit the edge here. So if I had this on upside down, which I might change it, especially when I move it, then I would be here and I could just pull my needle through underneath some stitches anywhere, because there's not a big barrier there. So I might do that when I move this. So I'm very happy with my rabbit. I noticed when I put this close to the screen and I'm watching the video, it gets kind of distorted. So I apologize for that. But so my rabbit, I had to make some executive decisions because all of these stitches were black. So I couldn't tell where the rabbit ended and the leaves started. So I actually had marked it out on my pattern. But then when I was stitching it, it looked different. And so I ended up adding a stitch that didn't exist to make his back leg longer, because I'm like, rabbits have really long feet. So I did, I'm happy with the way he ended up coming out. And I love that he's so subtle. He's just kind of hiding there, in the leaves. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is I made a mistake yesterday, or the day before. And I think it was yesterday morning. And, this can be very meditative. And so you get to daydreaming and you look down and you're like, that doesn't look right. However, what I did was make this middle leaf 1 stitch too wide all along it. But when I looked at the pattern, it actually then made it equidistant from the other 2 leaves. And so I left it. And now my pattern is unique. Also, that extra stitch on the rabbit's foot. So yeah, it's coming along really great. The one thing I notice is this black, black is like the absence of light. When I look at my black stitches, I can't see any texture. All I see is black. But then my rabbit, I can see all the bumps and lumps and everything. And it's so interesting that he looks so much different than the rest of the stitching. So it's kind of cool. So I'm going to show you where I am on the pattern. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, this will probably show up grainy. Sorry. So I'm now here. I've done this, all the top, and now I'm here, and I'm gonna come around here with my black. Then I'm gonna do this crown and this crown in gold. Then I think I'm gonna do this partial, I think it's a unicorn, in pink. And then I'm gonna flip down underneath. Flip down here and do this kind of seahorse type creature also in pink. Now I'm gonna have to make a few judgment calls over here. I think I know what I'm gonna do. And then this is a little tiny mouse sitting on his tail. And so I have to make a few judgment calls there because he'll be pink and the mouse will be black. Then there's just some random things at the bottom of the pattern, all of which will be black. So I should be able to get all of that done over the weekend, and I'm not going to do another update until Monday. Give me time to get some stuff done, but I would love to have this page done by the end of the weekend, and then I will be a 12th of the way done. So that is very cool. One other thing I was going to mention that's challenging with this fabric, because it is so much softer than the normal fabric I use, is it is harder to get my end stitch underneath a couple stitches back here. When the fabric is stiff, it's very easy to do that, but I'm trying to be a little careful when I do that. But yeah, I'm so super psyched. I love my bunny. I think I like the creativity of having to make those judgment calls about the different colors and how I'm going to divide up the stitches to make it look right. So that's been fun. Oh, one other thing I was going to show you. So I do collage art also, which I love. And this is kind of I send collage postcards every month to my paying subscribers on my Substack newsletter, which is called Sunday Mornings in Bed, which I think there's a link to it in the description of this YouTube video. And sometimes I stitch on the postcard, or I stitch a little cross stitch and then I cut it out and glue it onto the postcard. So recently I saw that someone was doing a class actually online about stitching on leaves. So I picked up a leaf. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Oh, there you go. And really you want to poke holes in it first in the shape of, you know, what you're trying to do, and then stitch on it through the holes. So I just did some stitching on this little leaf it's very brittle though. I actually had brought in a green leaf, but it promptly shriveled up. So I was researching ways to preserve a leaf. Actually, there's several different ways to do it. One of them is by just ironing it between two pieces of wax paper, and then it gets kind of waxed. So I'm still kind of experimenting with that. I love this leaf, but it feels, well, actually I already did rip it once because it's very dry and fragile. So that's something I would have to take into consideration if I wanted to do that and somehow keep them around. But we have lots of big, beautiful leaves here. I think this is from a sea grape. I think this is a leaf from a sea grape. So I think that's all I have for today. I hope you have an incredible weekend. And if you're in Vermont, I'm sure you know that you are very near the line of totality of the upcoming total solar eclipse. So if you can safely get to the line of totality, I think it's going through Burlington. But even if you're not in Burlington, you're going to get almost all of it. So don't go anywhere during the actual eclipse, because it's probably going to be a lot of traffic. And if people don't know about the eclipse, they're going to be extremely confused about what's happening. But get yourself some certified eclipse glasses so you don't burn your retina, and enjoy the 5 minutes of eclipse amazingness. So yeah, I'm in Florida, so we're only gonna get like, I think 54 to 60%, but we should still get some cool effects. Like, and if you don't know this, during the eclipse, be under something that casts a shadow, like a tree is the best thing, because all of the shadows from the tree are going to be shaped like the however far the moon is in front of the sun. So it's extremely cool. I have photos from, I think it was the 2017 eclipse here, and photos of all these little moons on the sidewalk from the tree shadow. It's very, very cool. So enjoy that. And well, actually, I'll probably see you before that because I usually make my videos early in the morning. So I am going to a local college that I went to in 2017 to hang around a bunch of other nerds and experience as much of the eclipse as we can. So I will see you guys later.